Well, hello again. Good to have you here. I took a day off and then relaxed a little bit, and then came out and I've got this thing soaking in the navel jelly, as you can see. Not a big deal. Anyway, one thing, getting back to this pulse amplifier. Now, this pulse amplifier has a degree of rust on the surface, as you can see. And, you know, I don't want to be sticking... now, there's some rust on these rivets, of course, but which I can take off with navel jelly, which I will. But, you know, I don't want to just smear navel jelly all over this thing. First of all, it would remove the printing up here. And I can't just throw it down in evapor rust. I suppose I could, but I don't think that would be such a wise idea, considering how important this little item is. So what do we do? Well, I think what I'm going to do is just, I think I'm just going to take some Rust-Oleum clear coat, the satin. I'll take this rust off those rivets, of course, but after that I think I'll just clear coat it. I'll tape off this and tape off this plug and just clear coat it. Set it like that and clear coat it. I think that would be a good idea. It'll protect it, it'll bind with the rust, and it just won't go any further. I mean, that's about all I dare do to it. I don't want to mess around. I've tried cleaning all that crap off, it won't come off, and we've already got a little bit of fading on some of the printing. I don't want that to happen any further. Best solution, I think. Some of you might be thinking, why don't you just use the navel jelly on the areas that don't have any printing on it, and then just clear coat the top. Well, I could do that, but I think it might remove a little bit too much plating. Let's see what happens here. Now, I put a dab of navel jelly on each one of these rivets. Let's let it sit for a while, then we'll wipe it off and see what it does to this right here. I think you'll see it's probably going to remove a lot of it. Well, as expected, you can see it took off the finish right down to the metal. No good, no good. So if I were to, you know, cover the entire thing with navel jelly, it would turn everything silver down. That would be terrible, which would really expose it to further rust. The de-rusting of our little mechanism here, our little relay, our solenoid setup, is coming along really nice. The bottom is all gone, the rust. That little tab's giving me a little trouble, but you know, we will defeat it. This over here has all been de-rusted, and I just gave it a nice clear coat. But you know, this little thing here around our two buttons has got rust in it. It's been just annoying me sitting there looking at it. So I figured, you know, hey, I'm under here, what the heck, let's put a little navel jelly in there and see if we can't clean it up a little. Today we will finish up with this tour mat one way or the other and get this thing put back in there. And then we need to figure out what we have left to do. Now, we've got a few things out in the garage. I'll tell you what, let's just go out and take stock of what we have left on the table that still needs to be done. The push button assembly is right there. It's done. This is the amplifier. It's done. And this is the single pricing unit, the SPU1. It is done. These plastic things are repaired and good to go. All I have to do is pull out the tabs, or those pieces of paper from whoever had it before. This stereo box here is just a matter of cleaning it up and giving it a clear coat. That's all I have to do to it. It's mostly hollow on the inside, nothing to it. Make sure the wires are good. If I have to change wires, I will. This aluminum thing will need to be cleaned and given a paint job right here on the edge. You can see where the silver is about gone. Easy fix. The record rack needs to be cleaned and repainted to certain portions, maybe not all of it. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it that closely. The cover needs to be cleaned, and that definitely needs to be repainted, and a little bit of de-rusting needs to go on there. And our connector, anywhere we have a connector, will have to be cleaned. I guess, folks, that's just about it. We are really getting close. We already have our tubes here. In here is our pickup arm head. And we have a little bit of rust over here on this here. It'll have to do a lot of de-rust, actually. It'll need to be done on this. This is the count mechanism, the play counter. That'll have to be squared away. So essentially it's just a bunch of cleaning and de-rusting. And I guess all the electronic parts are done. So we've made some really good progress. Also, we have a couple of transformers here. There was a second one around here somewhere. Here it is. We're going to be using those at a later date. Not essential to checking out the jukebox though, okay? So there's where we stand right now. And oh yeah, I also have to finish up the wiring for the bulbs, but I'll do that after everything is checked out on the bench. We made good progress on the de-rusting effort. 99.99% of the rust is gone from both top and bottom of this little tab here. And I put a little bit around the outside edge. I'm going to give it another hour or two of soaking. There was a couple of dabs of rust that I wanted gone. This one looks real good. And there's a little bit down inside that screw head, so I figured, what the heck, I had enough left on my Q-tip. Why not dab it down in here and get a little help there. And here, shined up really nice. Let's go ahead and take off this old stuff right here. Get my switch uncovered. Oh, alright, now that brown stuff there, I may have to take a brush and try to get that off, but all the rust is gone in there, and I don't think that's rust. I think that's some kind of goo or crap. So we'll come back when all this is done. Meanwhile, oh God, once I get this tour mat put back together, you know, I've got these two screws here that the tour mat goes in with right here. And once I get the tour mat screwed in, I'll flip it over and then I will clear coat the heads of these screws from the other side because they are accessible. But once I get all that done and everything's tightened up and I put this out in the shop on the table with the rest of the stuff, then I have to go on to a major cleaning effort again of my poor old shop. Can you believe this? How can one guy cause this much of a mess? It's incredible. It drives me crazy. Everywhere I look is crap and more crap. But we've got to get it all clean because I want to bring out all those parts that need painting. And next week, the temperatures, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, they're going to be in the middle, up about the lower to middle 50s, which means I can get outside and do some painting right outside the door here. So I want to have all the pieces that need to be painted sitting on the bench right here. Right now, there's not even enough room to hardly put my pencil. Anyway, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and call it quits for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and load all these videos I've been doing up on the computer, and then I'll come back out, maybe in a couple hours, and wipe that thing down, get all that navel jelly off of there, and put it back together. It is the next day, Sunday, the 21st of January. I hope to get this video uploaded tonight, or this afternoon, so it'll be available later on. Everything's been clear coated, everything's good to go, except for the other side of this tab. Now, the other side of this tab will have to be painted before I bolt it down. Now, the way I'm going to do that is just take my old satin clear enamel, and I'm going to spray the end of the Q-tip over the trash can, get it saturated with nice clear enamel, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use this as my little paintbrush to kind of dab that up in there and keep it from rusting. And then we'll go ahead and bolt everything together, flip it over, spray the heads of the screws that hold it in, and this thing can leave the bench. Everything is good to go. One final check before we put it out in the garage and cover it up with a towel. Let me see, this one here resets it. This one here goes in and out. We'll simulate that with my finger. And we should have it 2 clicks again. And reset. She's good. Okay, she's good. By the way, the pulse amplifier has had a nice clear coat put on it. You can see it's nice and shiny now. I think that'll do the trick. I don't think it'll need anything else but what we've done to it. Alright, now begins the massive cleanup. I got to spend about an hour, I don't know, 10 hours, 3 days to clean this place up. Well, she's better. She's a lot better. She's in good shape for the shape she's in. I managed to get all that crap cleaned up. The top is looking good. Now we're going to start bringing out the items that need to be painted blue and stacking them up, lining them up across here like little soldiers, But first, there's one more thing I need to talk to you about concerning the tour mat, and then we'll wrap this video up, and we'll pick up in the next video with the actual painting, which will be tomorrow, which is Monday. I don't want to do anything today. I'm kind of worn out, and the wife wants me to cook supper. I don't know what exactly she wants, but we'll figure it out when I get in there. get back in the house. Okay, what we're going to do, now this is the 6X4 vacuum tube. It's V503. It's a rectifier, okay? 6X4 vacuum tube in the tour mat again, the item we just took off the bench. And it's a rectifier. It's V503. I've heard nothing but, well, I shouldn't say nothing, but I haven't heard consistently good news about the 6X4. Some people say no problem, you know, it's fine, just go with it. Yeah, well, let me tell you something, guys. If it craps out, you're not the one that has to mess around and fix it. I am. So I'm not going to take any chances. It'll probably work if it were a small radio and I didn't have to, you know, tear huge things out and lift heavy chassis to get to it and check underneath maybe something that might have burned out as a result of this. Yeah, if it's a small radio, no problem. Put it on the bench, open it up, done, you know, fix, over. We're going to replace that with this right here. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. This entire tube is going to be replaced with this diode. This is also a rectifier. This is the 1N4007. Now the 1N4007 is pretty much a universal diode used by a lot of people for a lot of things. One of its main characteristics is it can handle a sustained peak reverse voltage back against it, against the flow of the electrons, back against the way it's set up in the circuit. It can handle up to 1,000 volts of reverse voltage, sustained peak voltage. I don't know how long it can do that, of course, you know, until it goes smoky, and that's it. So this baby's going out. We'll use it for something else, maybe another radio or something. And we'll be putting this baby in, and we'll do that probably in the next video. I don't know. It's all laying on the bench now, ready for us tomorrow morning. Quite a bit, actually, huh? You know, you got your record rack, got your count mechanism that counted how many times the record was played. That's going to have to be cleaned up, painted. This here is not bad. Now this one here, the cover and the base, and the stereo network box, which is hollow on the inside. It's we'll be able to, and also the cash box door. This is the cash box door that goes on the cabinet. Those 4 items will knock out fairly quick, or quickly, I guess. And we'll sand this one down and everything, tape it all off, and I'm going to see if I can't remove this. I would like to repaint these on the bottom, or I'm not sure if it's painted on top or bottom. Might be able to get the wifey's paints out and do something with that. But this here will have to be painted silver. But that's right now we're talking about the blue, and all I'm going to do with this is clean it up, wash it up. Hopefully the printing won't come off. I'm going to give it a clear coat. This thing here will be a quick sanding by hand. It's got that same stupid paint on it I couldn't get off from the frame that this thing fits in. So we're going to go ahead and paint it black. You know, sand it down, paint it black, done, put some clear coat. The 2 hardest parts are going to be the record rack and this counter. I don't want to damage anything on either one of those. So next time we'll start out with this, 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 and this. And hopefully I can get them all done in one video. If not, well, we'll just stretch it out another 1 or 2 vids, okay? Well, that's it. I hope you like my clean shop. Not bad for an old guy, I'd say. This paint here is what's left of my blue paint. This will be the satin clear coat that goes over the top of most of it. And until next time, this is John.